beyond the stars, out where the sun sets, we'll find the light, and we'll keep it our secret. Oh, anywhere you wanna go, down at Eden Road. Anywhere you wanna go, I'll show you my world. Anywhere you wanna go.
By this sign, I take you, Claire, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, so long as we both shall live. By this sign, I take you, Lindsey, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, so long as we both shall live. Give them a mighty round of applause.
Corinthians 13, verses 4 to 13. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonour others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain, faith, hope and love, but the greatest of these is love.
These I can promise. I cannot promise you a life of sunshine. I cannot promise riches, wealth or gold. I cannot promise you an easy pathway that leads away from change or growing old. But I can promise all my heart's devotion, a smile to chase away your tears of sorrow, a love that's ever true and ever growing, a hand to hold in yours through each tomorrow.
When you walked into the room, I couldn't keep my eyes off of you. Was it make-believe, or was it a dream? I've been waiting all my life. Feels like I've struck a gold mine. With your hand in mine, our love came alive. We've still got the rest of our lives. The rest of our lives. The rest of our lives. Oh, the rest of our lives. Dance with me beneath the stars, moonlight crashing on our wild hearts. With your hand in mine, everything is fine. We've still got the rest of our lives. The rest of our lives. The rest of our lives. Oh, the rest of our lives. Love is a journey, we'll steady the course. Fight for each other, no matter the score. Through heartache we'll carry the love that we swore. If you just take my hand, oh, won't you just take my hand for the rest of our lives. For the rest of our lives.
Well, good ladies, afternoon, gentlemen. Sorry. I knew I should have rehearsed my speech. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Castle Leslie. I hope you've enjoyed the ambience and the atmosphere. I certainly a lot of atmosphere at our house this morning. Complete panic. I've never seen so many girls putting on so much lipstick, makeup, tight pants. I don't know what all was going on. Andrew and I went out for a fry to get out of the road. So anyway, but look, I guess for those who don't know me, I'm the father of the bride. I've been told by Kyle I have to hold it together because if I fall apart and blubber, he'll be next. So he's my new best friend. So we're going to work together well here. So Claire, well, what can I say about Claire? Dear, dear. She's the best girl of the oldest girl. Sorry, she's the best oldest girl of the three. I got out of that well, didn't I? I did notice Pippa was right in there with the daggers, as was Lauren. So I think I've known Claire all my life, believe it or not. I taught her how to ride a bike, which was hilarious. Tied her shoelaces, taught her how to do that. She still hasn't really worked it because she's now into slip-ons and high heels and stuff as opposed to boots. Hopefully I taught her what was right and what was wrong in life and how to handle that. And I think you'll all agree she does look absolutely fantastic tonight. So whenever Claire was born, she I have to get the right number here, Pamela. You were giving me some advice about speaking. So when Claire was first born, most children when they're born, the first words they say is "Dada" or "Mama" or something like that. Claire's first word was, "I want to get married." And she's talked about it all her life. And she always talked about, wanting to meet a handsome young man, upstanding in the community, would make a really good husband. And I guess, Lindsey, you're lucky you got her before she met that guy. Which brings me on to Lindsey. So, what can I say about Lindsey? I had a whole lot of good things to say about Lindsey, but Kyle has put me right straight in the last half hour, so I really don't know what to say. So it would be remiss of me just not to cover something that really impressed me about Lindsey. So you know the way he's also into quite detail and everything has to be straight lines and, you know, right and all the rest, you know. So Lindsey decided, modern guy, you know, how do you ask someone like Clifford for your daughter's hand in marriage? So Lindsey texted me. Like what's that all about, right? So here's the text. Oh, here, better put it around this hand, right? Here's the text. Hi, Cliff, are you at home today?
Do you want me to unlock the phone?
Do you want me to read the actual one? So, I guess I've lost my cards, so... Which reminds me, actually, you know, marriage is like a deck of cards. Yeah, good, Kyle. You're next, mate. So life's like a deck of cards. You need to start off life with a couple of hearts, and a diamond always helps to get it all going. And certainly they've got that. And then as life moves on in marriage, the odd club and spade can come in handy. Hopefully you don't leave that to the other. But anyway, look, I'm not going to say any more. I've spoken enough. I know I'm between three more guys who are dying to speak. There is a fantastic band on, which will be on for 3 hours, I believe. I hope they are. And then there's a disco, and we should have a great night. Oh, not a disco, sorry. What do you call it now?
DJ.
What do you call it, Pippa?
A DJ.
Oh, a DJ. Disco and my day, same thing, right? Anyway, so will you all join me and stand up and wish the new Mr. and Mrs. Graham every happiness in the future.
Mr. and Mrs. Graham.
Hello everyone and welcome. I'm going to start off nicely with Lindsey, and then I think maybe things will go downhill afterwards. Lindsey's the type of guy that everyone would love to have for a son. And even when he was a baby, he was no problem. And before we knew it, off to school was wee school bag to Drumbo Primary. Done well, and then headed to Wellington College. Got on well there, loved his rugby, and about 4 years he come home. Don't want to go to university, I want to be an electrician. So off he went, learnt the trade, ended up at Bright Spark. He loves the power and the speed of his motorbikes, loves to jump out of airplanes with his parachute. And not that long ago he took Claire to South Africa on safari, and they went out in the boat into a cage and lowered into the ocean to see the sharks. I wasn't sure whether he was wanting to get rid of her. But the white sharks come up and had a good look to see what lunch was like anyway that day. I would call him a good all-rounder. So, I think Claire, you'll be happy enough to know he's learnt a few things since that day, and you shouldn't have any more problem. So, I'd like to welcome Claire into the Graham family. You're very welcome. You know us well enough now, you can come and go as you want. The door's always open. Lindsey, you've got yourself a beautiful wife, and Claire, you have a great guy there. So I hope you have a long and happy marriage together, and good luck for the future. So if you'll all be standing.
Reverend and Mrs. Best, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. On behalf of my wife and I, we would like to thank each and every one of you for being able to spend today with us. I won't put too long, as I'm sure there's some riveting speeches still to come. And I'm sure we're all waiting for a dinner also. I would like to start off by saying how amazing you look today, Claire. I was blown away when I saw you walk up the aisle. You're stunning, and I can hardly take my eyes off you most of today. Can I also say how well all the bridesmaids are looking and what a great job they've done today in helping out? And a few of the guys aren't looking too bad as well here. So we have a list of people I would like to thank, and then at the end, if we could all do one big toast, that would be great. But I think you should all know the story of how Claire and I met. So many years ago, Claire's friend Emma, who she grew up with, started going out with Neil, who I also grew up with. Emma thought I would be a good catch for Claire, so she tried her best to set us up, but Claire didn't bite. After many attempts and multiple times of trying to get Claire and I together, Claire still refused. And by the way, I didn't know any of this was happening whatsoever. I was just kept in the dark. Emma and Neil eventually gave up with the matchmaking, and then one night I was out in Belfast with the usual suspects, one being Kyle. We were just passing the dance floor in this particular bar in Belfast, and then I saw Claire. She was on the dance floor, and I was immediately drawn to her. I couldn't take my eyes off her. Some say it was her long blonde hair that drew my attention. Others say it was her big blue eyes. Kyle would say that it was her short skirt that she was wearing that night. But it was none of these things. It was her desperate dance moves that it made her look like she was part of a 90s karaoke nightmare. She was giving it all this, her wee legs. And she was desperate looking. It was obvious to Kyle and I that we had to help this poor Armagh girl out, as it was Belfast at the end of the day that we were in, and she would soon be the laughing stock of the place. So Kyle and I, we put a plan together and off we went. So after about 2 seconds, I had Claire's name, number and life history. Funny enough, as Claire would still say today, she would insist that she never give out her number to any fella during a night out. But she must have thought I was John Travolta that night, as I had her number in no time whatsoever. So over time, I started to learn about Claire's different trips abroad when she was young. She was taking herself off to different countries and spending time with local communities to try and solve the conflict in their areas. She basically took herself out into very dangerous parts of the world, met with gang leaders and gave them a tune about their behaviour and how they were wrecking their community, and off she went to the next one, leaving the gangs with their tails between their legs. And I'm not even joking, some of these places were probably the worst places on earth, and would give Ross Camp nightmares for a week. It was hearing these stories, Claire, that made me realise how much of a caring person you are. You put everyone else before yourself and go out of your way to help everyone. You have a heart of gold and would never see anyone stuck. I really do admire you for this, and I don't think you realise just how amazing you are.
Right, a few stories about Lindsey over the years. The day I shot him. We used to get Dad's air rifle. It shot these large mushroom-shaped pellets. We used to take it out to the stone barn, shoot these tin cans hanging from string, and completely destroy them. After hitting so many, we got kind of bored. At that point, Lindsey says, "Do you think getting hit from a pellet would hurt?" As I looked at the cans and they were just decimated, and my reply, being the more wiser, intelligent brother, I said, no, hardly think so." At that point, Lindsey says, "Let's shoot each other." I said, "Okay, that's dead on, but first, I get to shoot you first." We headed down to the garden. Lindsey walked to the far side, ready to feel a bit of lead. I took aim and told him actually to bend over a bit in case I hit you in the head. Seeing his jeans getting tighter and tighter behind as he bent over, I thought this would be an ideal place to shoot him. Standing brave, I shot him, doing what anybody would have done in my position. I'd never seen anybody jump so high, screaming, rolling about in the wet grass in pain. And by the time I got down to him, he had his jeans around his ankles, shouting, "Did it go in?" This is actually fact, so it is. Lucky enough, it didn't go in, but a huge bruise and lump appeared. At that point, I thought, right, I'm not getting this done to myself. I grabbed the gun, ran to the gun cabinet, and hid the key from him. And then I returned to see if he was okay, and pleading with him not to tell Mum and Dad. How is your leg after 20 years?
Still got a limp.
Right. Claire might rub it later for you. Lindsay, he had certainly a different way to the ladies. I never noticed much chatting up and done. He maybe classed that as wasting time. But you would have just seen him dander up to these girls and straight away he would snug the face off them. Or the other thing he done was he would have got his finger, placed it on top of their head, whirled them round like a ballerina, spinning them round and round. This is fact too. Until they were so dizzy they didn't know where they were, and then he would snug them. Poor girls. You remember that, do you? Yeah?
I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Kyle and I'm Lindsay's second best man. Now you're all probably as confused as I am with being a second best man. How can anyone have two best men? Well, the truth is, you can't. So with that said, just imagine me as the Poundland version of best man. Buy one, get one free, I'm the simply vote. I'm guessing Lindsay asked me to be his best man purely on the basis that I asked him to be mine. And him alone, I might add, with no other cheap substitutes. However, I fully understand his motive to include me in his wedding, through sheer fear of losing me as his one and only real friend. Lindsay has briefed me multiple times about the etiquette and decorum that's expected of me during this speech. This, however, doesn't give me a lot of breathing space to tell you about the stories about Lindsay. So Lindsay, I'm on my best behaviour. Just allow me a few minutes to do my duty as second best man. Lindsay and I formed our bonds of friendship in Wellington College on the rugby field, where we shared common ground. Lindsay was able to express his frustrations in life through the platform of running over people's heads. With the elegance and grace of a tranquilised hippo on ice, he embraced the field, and to be fair, he became a pretty decent back row player. However, his flourishing rugby career was cut short by a small number of injuries. Dislocated fingers, dislocated shoulders, broken collarbones, numerous back problems, and just a general air of uncertainty whether he'd survive 80 minutes or not. Lindsay. His intellectual capacity would be somewhat less than desirable to put it kindly. If the poor guy ever had an intelligent thought, it would probably die of loneliness. Now, it would be a fair statement to say that I was never particularly academic. However, Lindsay revolutionised just how low the bar could go when it came to academic standards. And with this I found a deep sense of sympathy towards him, and more importantly, someone stupider than me. To be fair, most of Lindsay's shortcomings weren't as a result of his ability, more so his attitude. And anyone who knows Lindsay, especially work friends, knows it's Lindsay's way or Lindsay's way. A good example of Lindsay's school life was his inability to grasp the modern day languages and strive to further his Spanish vocabulary to the extent the teacher gave up on him, quite literally. She put him in the classroom store for the entirety of the lesson once. But then soon realised that the class's productivity went up by about 70% when Lindsay was locked away. Therefore, she proceeded to put him in the store every day, every lesson for the rest of the year. Little did the teachers nor Wellington College know, Lindsay wasn't there to be tested. He was there to test the patience of every poor soul that had him as a student. Another trait Claire has is her compassion and sympathy. I genuinely, hand on heart, and I mean this with all the love and respect that I can attach to it, Lindsay, I expected you to die alone. Never did I think that anyone would be able to tick all of Never did I think that anyone would be able to take all of Lindsay's boxes, suffer his intolerable stubbornness, and better yet, decide to settle down with him. I commend you, Claire. You are a champion. In my eyes, and Lindsay's. You've got like 5 lines of niceness here. With that, I will say, in all honesty, Lindsay is a great guy, a great friend. I feel like I start crying because nobody's trying to. He comes from a lovely family, and I have no doubt he will bring you many years of happy memories. I wish you both the best in all your marriage and your future together. And with that last speech, let's stand and raise our glasses to the newlyweds.
Just want you to dance with me tonight. Looking at you, I can tell you want me. Don't stop, dance till the morning light. Cheap seats, I saw you there, sitting all alone with this crowd, acting like you didn't have a catch on some girl. I knew right then you'd be mine. We'd be dancing the whole day long. Come on, come on, baby. Loving it! Come on, baby. I just want you to dance with me tonight. Dance with me tonight. Come on! Tribute to those swingers out there. I want to see you swing from side to side, girls. Seems to shine like you had too much wine. That's one way, you know what I mean? One way. When you dance down the street with a crowd at your feet, you're in love, in a dream that you know, you're not dreaming. Sing your love, brothers, boys. Excuse me, when you see back in all that party. Snow is falling all around me. Children playing, having fun. It's the season for love and understanding. Merry Christmas, everyone. Time for parties and celebrations. Yeah. People dancing all night long. It's a time for presents and exchanging kisses. It's a time for singing Christmas songs. Loving it. Come on, everybody. I'm gonna find that girl underneath the mistletoe and kiss by candlelight. Snow is falling well all around us. Children playing, having fun. Come on. It's the season for love.